This morning I made, hold on. Today I made $832 in roughly 2 minutes trading Forex, and it was absolutely insane because it's such a simple strategy, and I'm excited to show you guys it because a lot of you guys think to trade you need to know all these crazy fancy concepts, and in reality all you need is a simple strategy. A breakout strategy is what I like to use, a couple trend lines, a couple support resistance lines, and a little bit of volume, and you can make thousands of dollars every single day. It's the same strategy I use, same strategy MambaFX uses. Let's hop right into it. You probably thought this was gonna be the strategy, but it's not. You're in my pantry. And so I'm just gonna ask if you guys can please subscribe because I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers before the end of the month. Okay, now let's talk about trading.
All right, guys, so if you look at my chart right here, this was the trade that I actually took this morning. Let me get out of replay mode so you guys can see it a little bit better. This was the trade. Now I am going to go back into replay mode because I want to break down what this trade was, how we even got to this point, what I saw, and how I was able to catch, a 1 to 2 on US 30. So let's remove all these drawings and let's hop right in. So what I trade is a breakout strategy. Now a breakout strategy requires a couple things. One, clear structure where price could break out of, and two, volume. We need volume for breakout strategies. Now you might be thinking, how do we know when volume is going to come? For the most part, we don't always know, but there are certain pairs with certain times where we know there's always going to be volume around those times. US 30 at market open, New York session open, is one of those times. So my morning starts on this 15-minute chart every single morning at 9:15. I get on and I see what's going on. I see where price is and where it could possibly go if volume kicks in a certain direction. So I hopped on here on this 15-minute chart, and the first thing I want to look for is areas of structure that could be broken. So let's look at the top of this section right here. You're going to notice that I actually had my line somewhere around here, and you might be asking, why did I not go all the way up here to where this wick was? Because isn't that the real resistance? Like, price didn't go past that. Like, that's the ultimate resistance. And the way I like to think of the markets and market structure and candlesticks is I like to think of it like a story, and I try to ask myself, what is the story actually saying? Because I don't think the story of this candlestick within this range is telling me that price wants to break out from here, because the majority of the price action is right here. What I like to do to kind of help me get an understanding of the story is, find the general area, which is like this, and I say, okay, what is the average resistance area of the candlesticks? What's the average resistance area of the wicks? And most of the wicks are, right in here. And like, that's probably around the average. The candlesticks are probably like right around here. That's probably around the average. So what I'll do is I'll take that whole area and then I'll basically split the middle and say, look, this is really what price is doing in this area. And if you look at this line tells a better story. I don't know if that makes sense, but hopefully you're tracking with me. This line kind of tells us like, look, price was trying to push up. It really tried there, but it couldn't get past that area. And then it kind of fell off from there. And this was 9:15 right before the market open. This is where price started pushing down a little bit, and the 15-minute can only get me so far. I do see this area right in here, just a nice little support resistance area, but price was kind of pushing a little bit too far down, so I knew I had to get a little bit more information. And when you go down a time frame, literally, when you go down a time frame, there's more candlesticks. You can see structure a little bit more clearly sometimes, not every time, but sometimes. The 15-minute resistance, I don't need any help with that, but the 5-minute I do. And when I went down to the 5-minute, I actually saw like a minor trend line. And the same thing with trend lines. Like, you might ask, well, why didn't I go wick to wick? And I want you to ask yourself, what is the story actually saying? The story to me is the trend is really somewhere like right in here. It looks like, yeah, we had a little fake out, but now it's really starting to break out. And then I noticed when price started pushing down here right before market open, yes, it did break this trend line, but that's not enough because there still was some structure left over down here. So I decided just to target this area down here, pulled this down just a little bit. And if you go back to the 15-minute, what's funny about where I ended up deciding on the 5-minute is this is really, including this little bit of 3 candle structure and this bit in the end and the past, this is really like the average of this entire area. So I was totally okay with going here. It made sense in my head at market open. And basically what happened at market open was this. That candle happened, and literally within 2 minutes, let me show you guys the 1-minute chart. Look at this. Within 2 minutes, I enter literally as soon as it crosses this line, I'm like a few pips and then I'm in. Roughly a 30-point stop loss, and then I was going for about 65 points today. I think I closed like 66, 67 because, I was waiting. Literally within about 2.5 minutes, I was in and out of this trade, and we were able to make $800.
What you guys just saw is the exact reason I love trading, because a simple strategy was able to make me almost $1,000 this morning. And that just shows you don't need all these convoluted concepts or these crazy ideas. You just need something simple and consistent. A lot of you guys are learning way too much, and it's causing you paralysis on the charts. You don't know whether to buy or sell because you have a reason to buy and sell at the same time, because you've overlearned and under executed. I want you guys to find a simple strategy and just stick to it and execute daily on it. Don't go a week and then tweak things. Stick to it and be consistent, because that's where you're gonna find the results, and that's where you're gonna maximize your risk to reward. If you found this video helpful, please leave a like. It helps me out a ton. If you guys have any questions or comments or want me to do any videos over any specific topics, leave a comment. And you know what? If you made it this far in the video,